Oh wow, yeah. We ran into the sister code on this one because, again, we keep running across women who have no knowledge of the male experience, and this woman is clearly stuck in the gender war because all her talking points are related to how women feel. But where is the talking points for men? Even the man that she would want to, the type of man that she would want to marry, how does that man fit into her talking points about women? You see, this is why I say when women have no knowledge of the male experience, it just don't. It never occurs to them that men actually have issues as well. They only see things from their perspective. It comes off as being selfish, is what it is. Welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. Today we are with We Need to Talk. The title is Women Are Emotional Exhibitionists. Remember, guys, like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get it going.
You really feel? Because I just want to build with you. I want to keep it real with you.
You know how we say Hollywood, some people say Hollywood fucked up relationships. Like it set so many unrealistic expectations and shit like that. One of the expectations Hollywood set is this idea that a man has to work for a woman.
What do you mean, work for a woman?
Remember Deliver Us from Eva?
Yeah.
Good LL Cool J's character, yeah.
Very good movie.
Yeah.
Agree with it 1,000%. I just
But even LL Cool J's character, who was supposed to be like the quintessential ladies' man, when he first met Eva,
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union's character, she was still kind of like, nigga, you ain't nobody. You got to show me, right? So, unfortunately, I think because of that program, and a lot of dudes here, most women aren't even blunt enough to say, I don't feel a connection. But even the women who say, I don't feel a connection, some men hear it as, oh, you just need to try harder.
No, that's not what we mean. At least that's not what I mean. I mean, we can stop. Like, we don't.
She just made Alan's point. It's that, you got to work for it. This is where that comes from the man perspective, because we see that in the public eye and we say, oh, yeah, okay, well, I just haven't worked hard and I just hadn't wore her down yet. And what this woman is telling you is that, no, it's not like that. What she's really saying is that it's only like that for certain guys. And if you're not the guy, then it doesn't work. Just like when you hear women saying the difference between flirting and harassment. Because it's the attractive guy, he's flirting with me. Because it's the guy I'm not interested in, it's harassment. Same deal here. Translation. Well, look, let's just keep going.
I need to go on another date. It's not. That wasn't the hint for you to try harder. That was, I'm trying to spare you because I don't want you to feel like you spent a whole bunch of money and time on me and you got nothing out of it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I guess it depends on the woman and maybe the age and the mind space that she's in, where you might continue to let a guy court you.
I don't believe in that at all.
What?
Like it's trying harder? Nah, I don't believe in that shit at all. I like love being easy. If we don't just flow, if I can't just kick it with you, like if I can't be friendly with you, and I'm just trying to like audition.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm too old for that.
So you're like lazy.
That's not lazy.
That is.
No, it's lazy from her perspective because she wants you to audition for her. But it contradicts what she said before about, well, no, if it's not working, and then no, I don't want you to try harder. It's just not going to work. You see how these things don't line up? See, it makes sense when you talk about the one guy that she's interested in. She wants you to keep trying. But if you're not that guy, then no, don't keep trying. Here's where the rubber meets the road. What do you think? Which one of those do you think applies to most men in her perspective? This is where we're talking about possibility versus probability. The probability is that it's the wrong guy. The possibility, though, we don't want to turn that down. So we'll say anything that keeps hope alive. I mean, the reality is that let me stop. Let's keep going.
It's lazy.
That is absolutely not lazy.
In a way, it is. I would say that that's kind of lazy.
Explain.
Because you're not applying pressure. I don't feel like that's not a lot of energy.
See, this doesn't match up.
What a woman can give to a man in return when she feels like, that they really have something, I think that that's like 10 times more than. So if you put that effort in, she's going to repay you.
This is what I mean by that.
She's going to repay you if you're the right guy. But the problem is, again, is that this is when I say this is a prime example of a woman who has no knowledge of the male experience. She wants you to put yourself fully out there on display for her so that she can disqualify you. That's really what's going on here. Is that she wants to find out 100%. She wants you to put all your cards on the table, so she'll say, "Okay, well, no, thank you," and then move on, not realizing that what it takes to actually do that. And see, a lot of times, a lot of women share that same sentiment because it's really just what this really breaks down to is a power dynamic, and women want to control the narrative. So that's what you have here, right? That's why they want you to put all your cards on the table so that they can make the best decision for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that because men do the same thing. It just happens at different times. So my advice would be is that I wouldn't say you need to overly work hard to make something work because women who are interested in you, they're not going to make things difficult. They're not going to make you tap dance in the very beginning. Plain and simple. And you can build upon that from there. But this whole idea of, you should put all your cards on the table, that is okay. I'm getting too far into this. Because I don't want to go in another direction where they're not going to take the video in. It's just, so let's just hit play and keep going.
It's one thing working hard when you've been drafted to play for a team, right? Versus literally being shit on by that team. I'm gonna work hard when I go to that next team so you can see everything you missed out on. So I'm not talking about
that's petty.
It's a little petty.
Yeah.
It's a little petty. Your smile means you appreciate that. But what I mean by that is it's one thing if, like, the pressure is reciprocated, right? Like, in as much as I'm showing you that I want you, you're also showing me that you want me. But the one-sided pressure, no, I'm not a fan of that. Like, you got to keep me motivated with this pressure. But if I'm just literally trying to American Idol audition for you to like me.
Oh my gosh. Here we go with this audition word again.
I don't like to audition.
Tap dancing, audition.
None of it.
I don't like these words.
None of it.
I don't like these words.
What would be a better word? What would be a better word?
It's defensive. Like, this is the mindset that you men have. Like, y'all feel like...
You men.
Kevin Samuels really did a number on y'all.
We'll talk about it.
Wait,
no,
what?
Like, y'all really feel like if you're vulnerable and put effort, genuine effort and energy into pursuing a woman, you're a simp, you're tap dancing, and you're auditioning. No, you just like a woman and...
So again, no knowledge of the male experience. Yet, if you had a conversation with her about her putting herself out there for the right guy, for a guy that she potentially thinks could be her husband, all of a sudden the tables turn, and now it's, well, no, I shouldn't have to do that. He should just find me. If you have no idea what it takes to be attractive to women, then opinions like that need to be kept to yourself. And I'm going to ignore the Kevin Samuels comment because I don't know where she was going with that. I'm still trying to figure that out. How a guy who talks about being high value is, how that relates to this. So I don't know. Maybe she'll explain it. I hope so, because that's a bold statement. And I would prefer that if you're going to make a statement like that, there should be a thought process behind it that gets explained so that you can back it up.
You're pursuing her. That's it. It's that simple.
It's not that simple.
It is.
Hold
that
on.
simple.
Let's back up.
And you're pursuing her. into pursuing a woman, you're like, y'all really feel like if you're vulnerable and put effort, genuine effort and energy into pursuing a woman, you're a simp, you're tap dancing, and you're auditioning. No, you just like a woman and you're pursuing her. That's it. It's that simple.
It's not that simple.
It is that simple.
And remember what she said before at the very beginning of the video. No, if it's not there, I'm going to tell you, and don't waste your resources on me. But she also wants you to chase her, though, to pursue her, as she put it. You see how this gets confusing? Because, again, she wants the right guy to do that. But most men aren't the right guy. So, well, it may not be, because we don't know what her standards are. But, I mean, if she's single, then that means that the majority of the men that she has met up to this point were not the right guy. So,
And if she likes you, she's going to return that energy. And if she don't, she's going to tell you that she should tell you there's no connection. And you can move on. But y'all don't even want to be vulnerable enough to put yourself in a position where you're pursuing a woman like that.
No, I believe men should pursue women. That's not what I'm saying.
But not to the point of auditioning and tap dancing.
It's auditioning and tap dancing when the energy is not reciprocated. That's it. If the energy is reciprocated, none of what I said matters.
Okay.
I'm talking about...
I agree.
The problem is... Matter of fact, I was doing an interview with this married couple, and I asked the wife, I said, what was the thing that surprised you the most about men after being married for as long as you have? And she said, I didn't know men had feelings. And she broke it down and said, men in my family, men that I grew up with and things like that, the only feeling you saw them exhibit was anger, but you didn't know, oh, his feelings are hurt. You didn't know, this, and that. And unfortunately, I think especially in our community, we don't think men have feelings. We think men should be strong and stoic and the whole nine. And I think that too. However, when you're seeing these stories of men being fucked over, when you're seeing these stories of men, and sometimes what's interesting is sometimes it's like, a dude is traumatized because he was cheated on. And sometimes he was the one who was the side dude. And he's watching, he's like, this dirty bitch, bro, I was still hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So men have gotten to the point now, and you talked about Kevin Samuels, where, and I think rightfully so, men think we are also valuable. I'm also valuable. I should also be wanted. I should also be desired. I shouldn't just have to...
Let it come out. Now it's all coming out.
Listen, we'll talk about it. I shouldn't have to put all my cards on the table. And as much as I need to earn your vulnerability, you have to earn mine as well.
So do you feel like men are the prize?
No.
Okay.
I think women are supposed to be.
Okay.
I think women are supposed to be the prize.
I just knew you was going to say yeah.
No. I'm not that. Yeah. I'm reasonable.
Okay.
Like, you look at history, a lot of wars are fought because of women. A lot of our motivation to do anything worth a damn is a woman, whether it's our mother, a woman that we're pursuing, whatever the case may be. So I think women are supposed to be the prize. However, men are supposed to be considered valuable as well. Because in our world now, a lot of the conversations, oh, I don't need a man, not even to have a kid.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the pushback is, oh, we're the prize. But I think what we're really trying to say is we're valuable.
Yeah, y'all are going really far with that, though. Like, y'all are taking it to the extreme.
Some people are, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't like those
Well,
people.
You don't?
I do not.
Okay.
So here's the thing. There is a sociological theory. It's called the pendulum theory, that society can often swing the pendulum to extremes on each side, right? in the last 30 years, feminism is a prime example. But you get to a point where the pendulum is going to reach as high as it's going to reach before it starts to swing back in the other direction. And that's what you have now. It's starting to swing in favor of men, because now you know men have found places where they can openly talk, and women are starting to hear the things, the grievances that men have been going through. And unfortunately, the pendulum theory will suggest that at some point we're going to reach the highest point, and then it's going to swing back the other way. But every time I think about this, I'm reminded of the, in the movie that came out in the 80s with Matthew Broderick. Yeah, I'm old, right? It's called War Games, and it's about this AI that goes rogue, and it starts to play a game of global thermonuclear war, and they have to teach the AI that there's no way to win at that, right? And they do it by running simulations of tic-tac-toe. And at the end of the movie, the AI has a famous line that says, the only way to win is not to play. Well, let's swing back to the pendulum theory. The reality is the pendulum is the gender war. Okay, it's going back and forth. Again, I always tell you guys the gender war is dumb. Why? Because we still need each other. See, the only way to win is not to play. So what does that mean? Well, for right now, what it means is that, unfortunately for women, it means that you guys need to hear out what these men are talking about, or what we men are talking about, without reacting to it. Or without all the backlash and the triggering and everything else, and the shaming and everything else. You just need to listen. And don't react. Listen and understand, so that we can move forward. Because again, eventually this will end, and men whining and complaining about the state of affairs between the two genders. The pendulum's going to swing back to the other direction. And for us to maintain in the middle, which is where most communities get built, we've got to stop trying to get even with each other. Because then, again, we've been stuck in this gender war for how long now? Marriage rates are going down the tubes. Single mother homes are going on the uprise. And you've got more and more children who are growing up to be less productive members of society. Pendulum theory explains a lot, right? But like I said, the only way to win is not to play. So, because so many women just have no knowledge of the male experience, that's where a lot of this male-oriented content can come into play, because now women can start to understand what men go through, the struggles that we deal with, the men's issues that are out there that up until this point we have been facing alone. And a lot of times that is very unhealthy and unproductive, but I digress. You can see that's something I'm passionate about, right? But let's keep going, all right? Let's see what we at here.
Okay.
Yeah, I've beefed on YouTube a couple of times because of some of my stances. Mm-hmm. Like with, have you heard the term SYSBM? Or SY?
No.
Yeah, SYSBM. Save Yourself, Black Man.
Okay.
It's a movement of a group of black men saying, women in the United States are so bad that it's better for us to go elsewhere.
Okay.
I was beefing with them for a little while. They didn't like me because I was like, it's kind of cowardly, this, and that. But I also see where they're coming from. Like, I just try to be balanced in my analysis.
What do you mean you see where they're coming from? Are we talking about American women in general or Black American women?
American women in general, but a lot of them are talking specifically about Black American women. Mm. And part of the reason is because of their experience with their moms. Some of it is because of their experiences trying to date, their experiences with girlfriends. And that's why, even the term on your shirt, the Black female delegation, I've been trying to have conversations with women so they could better empathize with men and understand that, as much as y'all are going through, we're going through it too, right? Like one of the married couples I interviewed as well. The husband was talking about his ex-wife. This was his second marriage. And his ex-wife stole like $30,000 from him. His ex-wife cheated on him and had a baby. His ex-wife had his son in a car seat without his seatbelt, got into a car accident, had his son around drugs. Like, but the thing is, because men are supposed to be so strong, you never hear these stories. So a lot of women just think that, oh, it's only women who are getting done wrong. But it's a lot of dudes who got done terribly wrong, but because of pride, because of nobody really wanting to hear their story, you never hear that. So most people don't even know how to empathize with men. Even we don't know how to empathize with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why these conversations are so important to me.
True.
I feel like y'all should heal. Y'all have some trauma.
We both do. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I think women are already more in tune with their emotions, though. Like, if I'm sad, I know I'm sad. I will cry. You said earlier you don't cry. So, like, that's what I say. Y'all need.
Who's more likely to have an emotional outburst? Men or women? Yeah, let's keep going.
Y'all have trauma. We already know, like, when we're going through something.
Here's what I'll say. Women are emotional exhibitionists. And this is what I mean by that. Displaying emotion and understanding emotion are two different things.
Okay.
A lot of women are good at displaying emotion. They're good at going from emotion to emotion. But as far as like acknowledging and identifying that emotion, some women are not good at it. So they'll cry and think they're crying about this, but it's really about that. But they haven't even thought about it. So really, they're just as bad as the person who won't cry. Because it's still misdirected.
That's a good point.
You know, men, on the other hand, a lot of times when we're showing anger, it's really just sadness. But we don't know how to emote it properly, so it comes out as anger. Or it's really just fear, right? So we're both mixing it up, but it just looks like women understand their emotions better.
You really think we just don't understand our emotions?
I've interviewed a lot of women.
Yeah.
And then the thing with therapy as well, some people, and I know one of my shirts says, you don't need love, you need therapy. Some people need intervention. Some people don't need therapy. Some people need it. Because what therapy is giving you tools on how to manage and mitigate some of your issues.
Right.
Which is helpful for some people, but it actually exacerbates the problem for other people. Like some people need medication. Some people need, what's it called? Different forms of therapy where it's like sound-based or whatever the case may be. So It's not just and that's why whenever I hear people say, oh, women are just so much further ahead than men, I think it looks that way.
Well, I mean, they're
But I don't
talking
think
about
it
like
is.
the women-owned businesses and then like the women graduating.
No, I'm talking about the emotional piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the emotional. I think it looks
Wait,
that way.
what?
You see women in therapy and this and that.
Yeah.
But some of those women are some of the most problematic. Some of the ones who are the most defensive. You can't talk to them. You know, so it's deeper than just doing the thing. It's also about doing the right thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We ran into the sister code on this one because, again, we keep running across women who have no knowledge of the male experience. And this woman is clearly stuck in the gender war because all her talking points are related to how women feel. But where is the talking points for men? Even the man that she would want to, the type of man that she would want to marry, how does that man fit into her talking points about women? You see, this is why I say when women have no knowledge of the male experience, it never occurs to them that men actually have issues as well. They only see things from their perspective. It comes off as being selfish is what it is. Now, does that mean that most black women are selfish? I'm not going to say that, because we're only talking to one, now, what would happen if we watched a bunch of these videos together? We might be able to draw a conclusion like that, but I don't do that. Yeah. The real issue becomes, if this woman wants to get married, and we don't know that, she may not. So in which case, this is irrelevant. But I think what we need to start doing is when we have these one-on-one conversations with women who are actually interested in marriage, what type of guy would actually fit them the best? Because a lot of times, one of the things that I'm starting to ask this more and more is when we get women who, like this woman, who are talking about, men in a negative light, you got to start asking, are they speaking from personal experience, or is it just based off what somebody's told them? Again, if it's based off what somebody's told them, then, I'm going to question how up to date is their understanding of the black man's image. If it's from personal experience, you already know what I'm going to ask. Who vetted that man for you? We have to start holding people accountable who are in these positions that want to talk about stuff and put men in a negative light. I'm not saying that there aren't bad men out there. Quite the opposite, actually. This is why we got to get down to who vetted that man for you. How did you end up with a bad guy? Because most cases, women, if you let women tell it, the majority of men are bad. But that doesn't make sense, because most people are average, men and women. It's the same thing with these guys that come with these horror stories about these women that take full advantage of them, and she cheated, and okay, so who helped you vet her? In most cases, it's not the right people. You don't let another man vet a woman for you, because they're gonna fall victim. They're gonna fall prey to the same things that you're falling to. How fine is she? This is why I say the vetting process is broken in our community, and it's not a short-term problem that we can fix. We can put a Band-Aid on it so we can start to make better decisions, which I always say is using the tools that we already have available to us. So a lot of times these dating issues, they come up because we're just spending too much time with the wrong people. And essentially, that's what we were talking about here is because just bring it back full circle, is that you're sitting there and auditioning for somebody. If you have to audition for somebody, chances are their value is higher than yours, and you shouldn't be with them in the first place. And I'm speaking to men who have to audition for women. If you have to audition for her and you feel like it's one-sided, like the host Alan was talking about, chances are y'all not a good match. Stop hanging out with that woman. You need to pull back you need to pull back to phone conversations. And in that time, you're not wasting any resources on her, but you go find somebody else, because you guys aren't a good match. It might not necessarily be that your values aren't equal, but you just might not be a good match. The things that you prioritize she may not be prioritizing, or your best qualities may be things that she's not prioritizing. So you got to accept that and just move on, because that goes back to that. Well, look, guys, this is a great conversation. We need to talk high level for sure. We got to keep the conversations going. We need more high level conversations so that we can start working our way out of the gender war. Why? Because it's just dumb. Again, we need each other. Women need men and men need women. But guys, that's it for me. I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace.